Hey everyone, it's Hindash and I'm back at the Nars YouTube channel. I'm so excited for today's video because I'm going to be showing you how to create this beautiful Nars Orgasm Glow on mature skin. Now, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but working on mature skin is one of my favorite things to do, and the techniques that I'm going to be showing you in this video are going to be so helpful, and it's going to make you want to wear all these different textures and colors. And the Nars Orgasm range is just so versatile for that and very universal. I feel like you can get away with so many different looks for so many different occasions. And I'm also going to be talking about the myth that mature skin shouldn't be wearing any shimmer. That's very false. I completely disagree. I feel like modern day textures and shimmers have come such a long way, and there are definitely so many ways to wear shimmers and sparkles and very sophisticated glitters. If you want to see how to create this beautiful orgasm look that I did on Caroline, then please keep watching to learn more about my techniques and discover the range. So here we have the beautiful Caroline, and I'm going to be starting off with base. I've already done skincare and skin prep off camera, so we're going to be going right in. And to start off, I'm going to be using my all-time favorite. This is the Nars Sheer Glow Foundation, and I'm using Santa Fe on Caroline. And I'm going to take a bit of that on the back of a palette and dot it on her face with my fingers, because that way I can control how thin I want it, because I don't want to go for a heavy coverage and I want to be able to build. And my philosophy with foundation is always going in with thin layers, because you can always build up and add more coverage with concealer later, and this works beautifully for mature skin. You can blend this in with your fingers if you want. It's going to look beautiful, but I prefer using a brush, and I'm going to do very thin strokes and blending from the center of the face outwards. And then I'm going to be tapping in areas where I want to keep more coverage, so for example around the mouth and the chin. And that's just going to make sure that I'm going to keep that beautiful coverage of the foundation. And don't forget to take a bit of that foundation that's left over on the brush over your ears and down your neck, because that's going to even out any redness or uneven skin tone. And on the cheeks, I'm going to be tapping that foundation in and stippling it, because again, I want to keep that coverage in some areas. But for the most part, I'm going for a very fresh and glowy finish. And a really good tip is when you get to the forehead, use as little foundation as you can, sometimes even just whatever is left on the brush, because we're more expressive there and things tend to settle in lines. Or just go ahead and apply a tiny layer and then tap that in with your fingers or a bit of a tissue, just to make sure that the excess is gone. And next I'm going to be going in with a bit of color correcting. This is the Nars Radiant Creamy Color Corrector, and this is in the shade Light. And this is a really beautiful peachy shade that's going to neutralize any redness, any bluish tones, and any discoloration that's on the face. So I'm only using a couple of dots in the targeted areas where I want to brighten and conceal and correct. And a bit of this goes a long way, so work in thin layers and work in targeted areas. So I'm going to be dotting that underneath the eyes and around the nose and blending it in. And I'm going to be taking that on the eyelids as well to even out any discoloration and brighten that area and even it out with the rest of the skin. And I'm going to tap that in with a brush. And as you can see, it just really evens out the skin, and now everything is unified and bright. This step is optional because the color corrector really did a beautiful job at brightening and concealing everything, but I'm taking a bit of the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer in Custard and placing a tiny amount in areas where I want to bring forward and conceal. So underneath the eyes, on the forehead, around the mouth and chin, and a bit on the temples. You can blend that in with your finger and tap it in. It's going to look beautiful. It's going to work just as fine. And I'm going to be doing that in most of the areas, because again, it's going to give me that really beautiful fresh coverage. Or you can blend that in with a brush or a sponge. And now we have the entire base done, and she looks amazing. To prep her lips, I'm going to be taking the Nars Afterglow Lip Balm in the shade Orgasm, and I'm going to be applying that on her lips to prep and hydrate her lips. And then to add color to her face, I'm going to be taking the Multiple in Orgasm, and this is a beautiful cream blush stick that is in the iconic Nars Orgasm shade, which has that really beautiful pink with peachy highlights. And I'm going to be taking that on the apples of the cheeks and upwards, because this is going to be blending a highlight and a blush in one. So it's going to give us that flush of color. It's going to give us the glow that we need. And it's just going to look like skin. I'm going to be blending that in with my finger. And as she turns, you get to see that beautiful highlight that the Orgasm blush is giving us. And it's just melting into the skin. I'm going to be taking a bit more on the apples of the cheeks and just evening everything out. Super easy. You can just do this and get out the door. You can put on your eyes, a bit on the lips, and you're really good to go. For eyeshadow, I'm going to be taking the Nars Orgasm Eyeshadow Quad, and I'm going to be showing you how to create this really sophisticated, shimmery, glittery eye look on mature skin. And don't be afraid. We're going to go in steps, and I'm going to be taking the matte color first and applying that on the outer corners of the eye and blending into the lash line. Now this is going to give us that matte definition and that base color so that when you're looking straight ahead, you have this really enhanced eye shape. Super easy, and honestly it's foolproof. You just want to get that on the outer V of the eye and blend it into the crease and use a light fluffy brush. And when you're done with that step, I'm going to be taking the shimmery pink shade in the palette and applying that with my fingers on the eyelid. And I'm basically going to be applying that from lash line all the way up to the crease and stopping in the socket of the eye. So I'm actually not taking it beyond the crease. And I love doing this with my fingers because I can really feel where the socket is, and I know that I'm going to get a controlled application. Next, I'm going to be taking the light champagne shimmer in the palette, and with a smaller brush, I'm going to be placing that on the inner corners of the eyes. And this is going to really brighten and open up the eyes. I'm also going back with that matte shade and applying that on the lower lash line to tie in what I did on top. And again, that gives us more definition and really frames the eyes. And again, with that matte shade, I'm going in closer to the lash line. This is optional because we're putting shimmer on top, but this really adds more dimension. I'm then going to be taking the darkest shimmer in the palette, which is more of like very sophisticated glitter, and applying that with a fluffy brush all over the eyelid. And this is going to really give us that diffused sparkle and make everything look ethereal and sophisticated and just so beautiful. Next, for mascara, I'm going to be taking the Nars Climax Extreme and applying that on Caroline's lashes. And this really is an extreme mascara. It's so black and it just intensifies your lashes. And Caroline already has beautiful lashes, so this really just takes them to the next level. So I'm applying that on the top of the lashes and then on the bottom of the lashes as well, but I'm going to be wiggling my way through the lashes to just make sure I get every single lash coated. And with the tip of the brush, I'm taking that on the lower lashes and just combing them through very lightly because I want most of the definition on top. For bronzer and a tiny bit of contour, I'm going to be taking the Nars Bronzing Powder in Velarta. And I always love to do the tip of the nose and across the nose and a bit on the cheekbones, just to give us more of that definition. A bit on the temples. And to set that blush that I did and just really intensify it and give it this full dimension, I'm going to be taking the classic Nars Orgasm blush, the iconic, and I'm going to be taking that all over the cheeks, taking it pretty high up actually because, again, I'm intensifying that color, adding more dimension. And then also I'm going to be reinforcing the glow that's going to be really shining through. And combining this with the multiple stick and Orgasm is really going to give us this next dimension glow. For lips, I'm going to be taking a bit of this precision lip liner in the shade Vents, and I'm going to be outlining her lips very, very slightly. I'm staying within the shape of Caroline's lips, but just defining that line and outlining it. So across the lips, Cupid's bow, and the bottom of the lip, and make sure that we have everything nice and lined because we're going with that lip balm on top and it's going to look so fresh. And now going back with my Afterglow lip balm and Orgasm, I'm going to be applying that over the lip liner and all over the lips. And that's going to highlight the lips. It's going to make them look more plump and more even and just match the look perfectly because we're sticking with the Orgasm Collection and theme. And when you're done with the look, it's always great to go back to the blush and see what you're missing if you want to add a bit more, because now the entire look is done. And there you have it. This is the very glowy Orgasm look for mature skin. It's universally flattering. Everyone's going to look beautiful in this. It's an enhancing look, and Caroline just looks amazing and incredible. And I hope you enjoyed this look. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I would love to chat, and let me know what techniques you would pick up, what techniques you already use, and what you would recommend on mature skin. And like I said, I love doing these types of looks. I love enhancing features and bringing them forward and just letting your beauty shine. And don't forget to subscribe to the Nars YouTube channel and my channel down below at Hindash, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.